time for the Raleigh Road Show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Raleigh Road Show. We're here tonight with some of my guitar friends. We're going to dub this RS3, and for all of you guitar fanatics, you know exactly what we're talking about. This is what I've been looking for a long time. We have a few gentlemen here that have been very instrumental with not only my own attempt at guitar playing, but also with the road show itself, in composing some music that you hear at the end with the credits, and also at the very beginning, which is something that a lot of people recognize so far. So what we'll do is we'll start around and go around the horn and let everybody introduce themselves, and some people may be familiar to you. So we'll start over on our right here.
I'm Niko.
Mr. Niko, he actually designed the beginning of the road show song. Would you like to play that for us?
Which one I gave? That's so many.
What's the name of that? I think we came up with some names offhand
I
for
don't
it.
honestly remember which it was.
That's all right. Hey, you know what?
Too many.
It's gonna play at the beginning of this show, so
People have already heard it.
listen to it. You've already heard it many times already. But Mr. Niko, you're part of what band do you play with in town?
I play with Rockzilla.
Okay. How long have you been doing that now?
It's been about a year and a half.
Okay.
Started about a year and a half ago. Band's been around for about 7 years.
Yeah. So is this strictly rock music, or what do you guys play on there?
It's mostly rock, but it's about 4 decades of rock, all covers. We fluctuate, a lot of it goes from anywhere from classic rock to Metallica, and then, occasionally throwing in like Lady Gaga and stuff like that. It's just, we kind of play what people want to hear.
Excellent.
We don't play what we want.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's that happens in town. I mean, you sort of have to do what people want, or what they'll come out to hear. You ladies enjoy dancing, so we gotta compensate sometime.
We enjoy watching.
But but anyway, what about you, Mister?
I'm Rich McCorkell. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I'm kind of a transplant in the area. Been around for a while. I played in a few cover bands around here. Played in a band called Cherry and Aftershock and Blackstrap Molasses. And currently right now I'm in an original project called Leeward Fate. And it's a national act, and we do tours on the East Coast and West Coast and stuff like that. So I actually play bass for that band. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, and I play bass for those bands.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Richard also donated some music to the show. So that's sort of why I got all these guys together. Like I said, there's a part of the show, part of me going around in here. So I wanted to give some props to people who've been instrumental with not only the show, but like I said, my attempt at trying to play guitar. Some days is better than others, but hey, it's all par for the course. And then we'll go to my left here, and some of you may recognize Mr. Mike here. And introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you do in town.
Okay, name's Mike Krause. I play in a local band called Crush that's been around forever. Anything past 10 years I think is qualified as forever. I didn't know you were from Philly. That's interesting. I'm actually from Philadelphia also. And so anyway,
I don't owe you money or anything, right?
We'll talk about that after.
Okay.
I didn't want to say anything.
All right, that's good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I've been actively in the scene here since '94. I actually finished high school here in the early '80s, but and played in a band with Dexter Rumwember of all people. I don't know if the Flat Duo Jets, if people remember him, but Jack White from the White Stripes was his biggest influence as far as getting the White Stripes together. But in any event, in '94 I came back down here. I'd gone to Berkeley up in Boston, and was actually a drummer at that time. and got into guitar pretty late when I was around 25, and then got obsessed with that, came back down here, was playing guitar full-time at that point, and have played a mix of, either in a cover band, or a combination rather of being in a cover band and doing work with original bands like Caitlin Carey, Fat Cockerel, $2 Pistols, Terry Anderson and the Olympic Ass Kicking Team, great name. And I'm also, so right now I'm just doing the Crush gig. I teach full time here at Carey Guitar Lessons where we're filming this. And I have an original project called The Third Expression that's starting to play out here and there. We were just on The State of Things with Frank Statio, I guess, in April, which was a pretty cool opportunity. And that's just my creative outlet, like we were discussing earlier, talking to Niko and everything. It's like we all have our bread and butter gigs that we really like that are fortunately music orientated, but at the same time we got to have a little bit of creative outlet, whether it's writing for him or doing more original performance stuff for me or whatever. So
Yeah, I think that's what most musicians and artists want to do.
Practical.
Yeah, they you have what you really enjoy and what you would like, to do all the time, and then you have the stuff that pays the bills and makes you, gives you the opportunity to continue on with your music career.
And you still have to have fun. Still have to have fun. Concerts and pulling Eddie Van Halen, a solo for 5 minutes, and wow the heck out of the crowd. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But then you've got they got Miles Kennedy,
Miles
who's a singer,
Kennedy's
and
sessions guitar player.
amazing as a singer.
Yeah.
Really fantastic.
4-octave range on that.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of emotion and feel and soul in the way he sings.
Yeah.
Great rock singer, but he's got that feel. So.
Exactly. Well, we'll talk about who do you guys, your current projects and what you do besides your
Band.
Yeah, let's talk about some other things, and then, like I said, feel free to play at any point in time. Like I said, this is a guitar show, so please feel free to do anything. Yeah.
Well, as we were saying earlier, you've got your kind of your different avenues, and Rockzilla is, we make money, which is kind of important for us, but it's the fun thing. We get out and just have a great time. We like the songs we play. We enjoy going out and doing it. We have a lot of fun together. One of the primary things for auditioning and figuring out who's going to be in the band is even personality. So we have a lot of fun with that. But then you've got to have your creative avenues, which is where the writing comes into play. And that's kind of funny too, because when you're writing stuff, sometimes there's a degree of frustration, depending on how much you're trying to get something. But then there's a lot of kind of fun to it. Even just melodies. I like things that have a bit of a I like that kind of heavy power and stuff out of there. I'm using almost full distortion and such, but still having that melody that I could play that 2-3 times and then you'd be able to hum it.
Right.
It's got that sound to it. Most of the stuff that I do on the side is like, I hate to even limit it. I just keep a lot of avenues open. Rockzilla is pretty busy. We did 70 gigs last year.
Yeah.
So
but you guys are doing some acoustic stuff as well.
Yeah, and so we just finally said, weekends are full, but let's just steal a weekday. So we did the acoustic thing. So there goes the rest of the week. But the idea of even limiting stuff for me is just I try to keep everything unlimited. It's like somebody come up to me last year and he had written lyrics, and he played little keys, he could just kind of hit a chord and then sing over it. Great singer, really good singer. He was actually taking voice lessons from a friend of mine, but he was a fantastic singer, and he just wanted to really assemble these songs. He needed somebody to help him with songwriting. Right. So I got hired to really be a songwriting assistant for him, and we put that stuff together. I've done parties and weddings. I've played, just solo acoustic stuff at your cocktail hour at the wedding or whatever, and instrumentals. And that's entirely different because now you're taking all that sound out of there and just playing things that are more, that works too.
Right.
And musicals, which is a whole different ballpark, but
Right.
sitting in a pit band playing guitar, and that's a funny experience because there aren't a lot of musicals that are guitar driven. If you get hired to do a musical for guitar and it's not a guitar musical, a lot of times you're sitting back there just kind of, and then, you know, that next chord comes out and maybe they'll notice it's there. You know, you're not in the spotlight of any kind whatsoever. You're just part of the rhythm section.
What's the Christmas show? The whole, who are those guys?
Trans-Siberian Orchestras. Well, they were amazing because I remember when they came out and they were just strictly like a rock band that had strings behind them.
Right.
You know, and then all of a sudden they've got a full orchestra, and then all of a sudden their stage lighting went up, and now they've got smoke and lights and fog and whatever, and they literally got the fire department on call just in case, because you don't know what's going to blow up on stage. 10 singers, and all of them are great, and they've gotten so big, and they're able to accommodate that Christmas show all over the country. You just don't have a calendar that can do that, so they actually have an East and a West Coast thing, you know.
Yeah.
Which is funny. You go on the website and you see them playing Seattle the exact same night they're playing New York. They've taken sort of this classical sound and classical melodies and put a rock edge to it.
Yeah.
And blues.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of their blues in there.
Right.
And then with the musicals too, you've got guitar-driven musicals. Some of the older ones like Jesus Christ Superstar is very guitar-driven. Godspell has a lot of guitar in it.
Right.
But then even some of the newer musicals that are out, like Rents is a rock opera.
No.
So it's, gets rockier and rockier every year they do it.
Mr. Richard, tell us what you're doing outside of playing gigs here and there. I know you have your own writing and music.
Yeah, I do a lot of writing right now, which kind of has like a post-rock kind of feel to it. Right now, though, I've really have fallen in love with playing bass, and interesting enough, being in a room full of guitar players, when I started out playing bass, I played bass like a guitar player, but it took me, it was very much a learning experience to actually approach the bass as a bass, and maybe that might sound a little weird, but it was such a paradigm shift for me. It was like, okay, now I can start playing bass like a bass player, and then the whole world is open. So I've been really enjoying that, especially with a lot of the original projects that I'm in playing bass. But I mostly compose music that would be more akin to a music bed for movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of actually meditation music, which is kind of an offset. So I'm an oddball with that way. And you mentioned Berkeley and stuff. I remember when I went to Berkeley and I knew I wasn't going to be the flash kind of guitar player, I got involved with other musicians and I learned a lot about other instruments. So I think the more you're open to how the band works in general, I think the better guitar player you are and more open, and you have an understanding. Don't you think, Mike?
Definitely, yeah. In fact, just to add to that point, one of the best things you can do, I think, as a drummer is play, at least get some exposure, as a musician, is get exposure to drums. Like play another instrument. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't play bass, is because I realize everything has to change. It's not like you can't play as a guitar player, it sounds terrible.
Right.
And I have too much respect for people that really know how to play bass.
Right.
People are like, do you play bass? Do you teach bass? I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, not really. I mean, I don't want to take their money, you know what I mean? It's an art form to play even simple bass well. And like you say, like you implied, getting that exposure from a different vantage point than just one instrument is really wise. Or like Niko said, like playing in different contexts is really wise. It can be uncomfortable sometimes because you're out of your element, but that's how you grow. I mean, I've grown the best when I've sweated the most, unfortunately. But that seems to be the way it works.
Anything else you'd like to add? Any other projects, things going on?
So far,
that people need to know about Mr. Richard McCorkell.
Geez, nothing. So great. The future looks bright because everything's open. I can only look up now. So
He's available.
Bar mitzvahs, weddings,
You're a Zen musician. Just are.
We'll come over to Mike here, and I know you have some stories and things that you're doing right now, and you go ahead and tell our audience here.
Yeah, Crush is my main kind of what they call a money gig, cover gig kind of thing. I've been doing that for a long time, and it's fun, it's enjoyable, everybody gets along, everybody's a good player. It meets all the criteria for doing a gig like that. I teach here at Carry Guitar Lessons Monday, well technically Tuesday through Friday right now, and do that with my partner Blair, who works next door in his studio, and I was hired to teach in Durham at a place called High Strung School of Music. And then my creative side project is the Bird Expression, which is an instrumental group that I put together purely as an indulgence, like doing whatever I wanted to do, which runs the gamut from, a Jerry Reed song to a Les Paul song to a Jeff Beck inspired 40s big bands, remolded into the style of like Truth Era Jeff Beck, kind of thing, or an Albert Lee style country hoedown, chicken picking tune. I mean, all over the map basically. And that, ironically, I started it in spite of wanting to do it, like it going anywhere, so to speak. But it's actually been doing more than I anticipated. When I was overseas in January, I got an email from the State of Things on UNC, NPR Public Radio. Do you want to be on the show? I'm like, sure. Thanks. How did you guys find out about us? And like, we don't know. We just got your name from somebody. I'm like, okay. And these little things kind of, that band's been playing more and more, maybe like once a month. Actually, shoot, we played like 3 times last month. So that's been very busy. And then I started doing some co-writing with the pedal steel player. That band has me on guitar, pedal steel, bass, and drums. And without a full band, it's not going to really entertain you, but I'll come up with little hooks. Maybe a hook that has some pedal steelish kind of stuff. There's a ballad we did that I co-wrote with Nathan. Has a lick like that in it where it might have like a counterpoint little thing in there. Maybe another lick like that kind of stuff. I tend to play with my pick and fingers a lot, so I'll be sitting on the couch just coming up with little things, doing those rolls. Jerry Reed and Chet Atkins would do those kind of 4-roll thing. So we're doing that. The original stuff we're coming up with is kind of in that kind of Ry Cooder-ish, deserty, soundtracky, atmospheric kind of vibe thing. And, I'd love to, nobody's going to really be able to tour, so I'd love to be able to get a record done and use it, get it into like some kind of soundtrack thing, whether it's movie stuff, TV stuff, whatever. Right. And so we're working on that right now.
Well, that's what we're here tonight, is to hear some guitar playing, so stay tuned and we're going to get you some guitar playing right here on the Raleigh Road Show RS3 version guitar special. for tuning in this week to the Raleigh Road Show, our first and definitely not last RS3 guitar show special extravaganza. I'd like to thank my guests this week, Niko, Richard, and Mike, for joining me. They've been a really big part of my life and a big part of the show thus far. And so what we do each and every time is we ask all of our viewers to go out, support our local music scene, watch the Raleigh Road Show, and together we can help keep our local bands and musicians show on the road. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Oh, right key.